What if staying silent was the most powerful move you could ever make? What if every word you didn't say became the echo that karma uses to speak for you? And what if by stepping back, you allowed truth and justice to unfold on their own? Welcome to Stoic Bridge, the bridge between ancient wisdom and modern life, guiding you through life's storms with calm and resilience. Have you ever noticed that the more you try to explain yourself, the more your words get twisted? In a world where people manipulate, deceive, and provoke, silence can feel like surrender, but in truth, it's one of the most powerful tools you have. This video explores 7 life-changing reasons to stay silent, drawn from the enduring strength of Stoic philosophy. We'll uncover how your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting the consequences of others' actions back onto them, while keeping your energy intact. Whether it's betrayal, manipulation, false accusations, or being underestimated, your refusal to react can shift the entire power dynamic. Just like an echo in the mountains, everything people send out, lies, harm, disrespect, returns to them in time. Karma isn't just a belief, it's a law of life. And when you choose not to engage, you allow that law to work freely. So when should you stay silent and let karma do what words never could? Stick around as we break down each of these 7 moments. You'll learn when to speak, when to walk away, and how to protect your peace without ever raising your voice. Let's dive in. Number 1, when someone lies about you. Let's pick up from where we left off. Silence has the power to reveal the truth. Now let's dive into one of the most frustrating situations you may face, when someone lies about you. It's incredibly tempting to fight back in these moments, to clear your name, to make sure everyone knows the truth. But here's the reality check. Defending yourself against lies often only fuels more drama. The more you react, the more energy you give to the falsehoods. The more you try to explain, the more people start questioning, even if they had no doubts about you before. Here's a hard truth to swallow. Some people don't care about what's real. They care about the reaction. The person spreading lies isn't looking for the truth. They're looking for control. They want to see you rattled. They want you emotional. They want to draw you into a battle where every move you make serves to validate their lie. And when you engage, you're only playing into their game. This is where Stoic wisdom can guide you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This is the standard you should hold yourself to. Others may lie, others may deceive, but their actions don't define you. Your response does. Instead of wasting your energy defending yourself, trust in the power of time and truth. Let them reveal everything. Because here's what people often forget. Lies have an expiration date, but truth is eternal. Let me tell you a story. A man I know, let's call him James, was falsely accused of something at work. Rumors spread like wildfire. People whispered behind his back. Some colleagues distanced themselves. His first instinct was to start explaining himself to everyone, trying to convince them of his innocence. But instead, James chose silence. He kept doing his job, stayed professional, and let his actions speak for themselves. Weeks later, the truth came to light. It turned out the person who spread the rumors had a history of manipulation. James didn't need to prove anything. The truth revealed itself, and because he never engaged in the drama, his reputation remained intact. So, how do you handle a situation like this? First, trust in the long game. Lies may spread quickly, but truth endures. Second, focus on your integrity. If you know who you are, the opinions of those who believe lies don't matter. And finally, let karma do its job. People who lie about others eventually expose themselves through their own actions. You don't need to chase them down. Life will handle it. At the end of the day, your silence is not weakness. It's control. When someone lies about you, Don't stoop to their level. Stay grounded, stay patient, and remember, the truth always comes out. And when it does, you'll still have your dignity intact. Now that we've explored the power of silence in the face of lies, let's move on to another powerful tool you can use to handle adversity: mastering your emotional responses. Let's dive into how you can take control of your emotions and stay grounded no matter what. Number 2, when someone betrays your trust. Building on the power of silence we discussed earlier, let's now turn to one of the most painful and transformative experiences in life: betrayal. When someone betrays your trust, whether it's a friend who turns their back on you, a partner who breaks your confidence, or a person you believed in who lets you down, it stings in ways few other emotions can match. The first instinct is often confrontation. You want to demand answers, seek an apology, or make them understand the depth of the damage they've caused. But here's the hard truth: no amount of words will change the heart of a betrayer. If someone was willing to betray you once, it's likely they've already justified their actions in their mind. They've convinced themselves that what they did was necessary, excusable, or even your fault. Attempting to reason with them will only lead to more frustration. If you try to explain, they'll twist your words. If you try to make them feel guilty, they'll turn the tables and make you the villain. That's why sometimes the most powerful response is simply walking away in silence. Here, Stoic wisdom can guide us. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." In other words, while betrayal is painful, it's also a test. It pushes you to grow, to strengthen your boundaries, and to learn who truly deserves to be in your life. The pain you feel isn't just suffering, it's a lesson in self-respect, detachment, and the courage to let go of people who were never meant to stay. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Sarah, had a best friend for over 10 years. They shared everything: secrets, struggles, victories. But one day, Sarah discovered that this friend had been speaking behind her back, revealing private conversations and even sabotaging her opportunities. At first, Sarah was furious. She wanted to confront her friend to make her see what she had done, but instead she chose silence. She didn't argue, she didn't seek revenge, she simply walked away. No explanations, no second chances. And do you know what happened? The friend felt the silence. She expected a fight, a dramatic scene, but instead she received indifference. And that silence, it spoke louder than words ever could. So, how do you handle betrayal? First, accept that some people will never be who you thought they were. The pain often comes from our own expectations. Let it go. Second, don't waste your breath trying to explain their wrongdoings to them. They know what they've done, even if they won't admit it. And finally, walk away with your dignity intact. Your silence is not a sign of weakness, it's a symbol of your strength. True power lies in detachment. A betrayer thrives on reaction, guilt, and second chances. Don't give them that. Let your silence serve as a reminder to them that you were never the one who lost. You were the one they should never have betrayed in the first place. Now, as we reflect on how to handle betrayal with grace and dignity, let's move on to the next lesson: embracing the power of patience. Patience allows us to see the bigger picture, and sometimes it's the key to unlocking peace in the most challenging situations. Let's explore that next. Number 3, when someone insults you. Let's continue from where we left off. Last time, we discussed the power of walking away in the face of betrayal. Now let's tackle something we all inevitably face: insults. Whether it's a snide remark, a backhanded compliment, or a direct attack, insults are designed for one purpose: to provoke you. The moment you react, whether it's by arguing back, defending yourself, or even showing anger, You've given the insulter exactly what they wanted: control over your emotions. Here's the truth. Responding to insults only gives them more power. When someone insults you, they're fishing for a reaction. They want to see you upset. They want to feel like they've gotten under your skin. But when you refuse to engage, when you remain calm, unshaken, and indifferent, that's when you truly win. Nothing frustrates an insulter more than being ignored. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes powerful. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Think about it. The moment you stoop to their level, you've already lost. If they're being petty, cruel, or disrespectful, why should you give them the satisfaction of seeing you lower yourself to their game? Instead, choose the higher path, the one that leads to silence, self-control, and dignity. Let me share a story. A guy I know, let's call him David, was at a work event when a coworker, jealous of his recent promotion, decided to take a jab at him in front of everyone. Wow, guess they're handing out promotions to just anyone these days. The room fell silent, everyone waiting for David to fire back. But instead, David simply smiled, made eye contact, and said nothing. Just silence. No anger, no defense. And you know what happened? The coworker looked uncomfortable. He had expected a reaction, maybe an argument, but instead, he was left standing there, exposed, while David held on to his power. So, how do you handle insults? First, recognize that insults say more about the person delivering them than about you. People who insult others are often projecting their own insecurities and frustrations. Second, understand that your silence is your strength. By not reacting, you show that their words hold no weight in your world. And finally, carry yourself with confidence. When you respond with calm indifference, the insulter is left powerless. At the end of the day, you can't control what others say, but you can control how you respond. And sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all, because silence is the ultimate proof that their words don't define you. You do. If you found this valuable, be sure to hit like and subscribe for more powerful insights. Next up, let's dive into how to handle situations when people try to undermine your achievements. Stick with me, because this one will shift your perspective even further. Number 4, when they play the victim. Let's build on the idea of silence being a powerful response. Now, let's dive into one of the most frustrating and manipulative behaviors you might encounter: people who play the victim. You know the type. They twist the story, conveniently leave out their own actions and make it seem like they were the ones wronged. It doesn't matter what actually happened. What matters to them is how they can gain sympathy, shift blame, and make others see you as the problem. The more you try to defend yourself, the more you end up looking like the villain. Here's the truth. Some people don't want resolution. They want attention. They don't care about honesty, fairness, or solutions. Their only goal is to control the narrative. And if you engage, if you argue, explain, or try to prove your side, you're playing right into their hands. This is where Stoic wisdom shines. Epictetus once said, "To complain is always non-productive and never appropriate." This wisdom fits perfectly here. When someone plays the victim, they're not seeking a solution, they're looking for an audience. Instead of engaging, let karma expose their manipulation, because the truth always comes out. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually people begin to notice patterns. They'll see how this person always seems to be the victim, and that's when the act starts to fall apart. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Rachel, had a coworker who was always playing the victim. Whenever she was confronted about something, she'd twist the situation and say things like, "I can't believe you'd accuse me of that. I would never hurt anyone." She would cry in front of the right people, making Rachel look like the villain. At first, Rachel tried to defend herself. She explained the facts, provided proof, and even tried to have a calm, logical conversation. But the more she tried to reason with her coworker, the worse things got. The coworker thrived on the drama, turning every response into more proof that she was being attacked. So Rachel decided to do something different. She went silent. No more defending, no more reacting. She simply let time reveal the truth. And sure enough, it did. Over time, others began to notice the same patterns. The coworker played the victim one too many times, and people stopped believing her. The same manipulation tactics that had worked before became too obvious, and eventually, her credibility crumbled. So, how do you handle someone who plays the victim? First, don't engage in the argument. The more you try to prove yourself, the more you feed their narrative. Second, stay calm and detached. Let their own behavior expose them. And finally, trust in karma. People who constantly manipulate and twist the truth will always reveal themselves in time. At the end of the day, silence is your power. Let them talk, let them spin their version, and let them play their game. Because in the end, the truth doesn't need your defense. Time will handle that for you. Now that we've explored how to handle manipulative behavior with grace, let's move on to a powerful tool that can help you maintain peace in any situation. Setting clear boundaries. Stay with me, because this one will make all the difference in your relationships. Number 5, when they ignore your worth. Let's continue from where we left off. Last time, we discussed how silence can reveal the truth in situations as a manipulator. Let's dive into one of the hardest lessons in life, being undervalued. Whether it's in relationships, friendships, or even at work, there comes a moment when you realize that someone isn't seeing your worth. You give your support, you show up, but instead of appreciation, you're met with indifference. Instead of respect, you're taken for granted. The natural instinct is to fight for their recognition, to prove your value. But here's the truth. Begging for recognition only lowers your value. The more you chase after it, the less they respect you. People don't appreciate what's always available. They don't value what they believe they'll never lose. And that's why silence becomes your greatest weapon. When you stop proving yourself, when you stop chasing, and when you stop trying to make them see your worth, something shifts. Suddenly they feel the absence of what they took for granted. Silence forces them to realize what they lost. This is where Stoic wisdom comes into play. Seneca once said, "Time discovers truth." And that's exactly what happens when you walk away with dignity. The truth reveals itself, not through words, not through arguments, but through absence. The people who truly valued you will notice. The ones who didn't, they were never meant to stay. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Jake, was always the one making the effort in his relationships, whether it was with friends or coworkers. He was the person who checked in, who showed up, who made people feel valued. But over time, he noticed something. The effort was always one-sided. If he didn't reach out, days, even weeks would pass without a word. If he didn't initiate, no one did. And that's when it hit him. He wasn't being valued. He was being taken for granted. So Jake made a choice. He stopped chasing. No dramatic exits, no angry speeches, just silence. And you know what happened? The people who truly cared reached out. The ones who had only seen him as an option disappeared. And that was his answer. So, how do you handle being undervalued? First, stop explaining your worth. Your value doesn't decrease just because someone refuses to see it. Second, step back and observe. The right people won't need reminders to appreciate you. And finally, let time do the work. When you walk away in silence, you give others the chance to realize what they lost. At the end of the day, You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. If someone can't see your worth while you're there, let them experience your absence. Because sometimes the only way people learn to value you is when they no longer have access to you. If you've watched this video this far, don't forget to leave a comment with a thank you and give it a like if you enjoyed the content. Your support means a lot and motivates me to keep creating more interesting videos. I hope you find inspiration in them and that we continue learning together. Thank you for your support. Now that we've touched on the importance of recognizing your worth, let's move on to something that can help you stay strong in every situation: mastering the art of emotional detachment. Stick with me, because this next one will change how you handle challenging situations. Number 6, when they try to provoke you. Let's continue from where we left off. Last time, we explored the strength found in walking away and mastering emotional detachment. Now let's discuss one of the most powerful forms of self-control: not reacting when someone tries to provoke you. There will always be people who thrive on conflict. They poke, they prod, and they say things just to get under your skin. The moment you react, whether it's with anger, frustration, or defense, you've given them exactly what they wanted: control over your emotions. Here's the truth: people who seek conflict aren't looking for resolution. They're looking for a reaction. They want to see you flustered, upset, or out of character. They feed off your emotional energy because it gives them a sense of power. But when you refuse to engage, when you stay calm, collected, and indifferent, that's when you make the ultimate power move. This is where Stoic wisdom steps in. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You can't control how others behave. You can't stop people from trying to provoke you, but you can control whether or not you let them affect your state of mind. And when you master that, you become untouchable. Let me share a story. A guy I know, let's call him Adam, had a coworker who thrived on stirring up drama. Every meeting, every interaction, this coworker would throw out little jabs trying to get a rise out of Adam. At first, Adam would defend himself, argue back, and try to explain. But over time, he realized something. No matter what he said, it only made things worse. So one day, Adam tried something different. The next time his coworker threw a jab, Adam simply smiled, gave a calm nod, and moved on as if it didn't matter. And guess what? The coworker hated it. He kept trying, but without the reaction he was craving, he eventually lost interest. So, how do you handle people who try to provoke you? First, recognize their game. If someone consistently tries to get under your skin, it's not an accident, it's a pattern. Second, stay calm and detached. Your silence and indifference will frustrate them far more than any argument ever could. And finally, remember, true strength isn't in reacting, it's in controlling your own mind. At the end of the day, the strongest person in the room isn't the one who yells the loudest, it's the one who refuses to be controlled by anyone else's negativity. When you ignore those who seek to provoke you, you deny them the satisfaction they crave. And that right there is real power. If you found this insight valuable, hit like and subscribe for more tips on mastering your emotional strength. Next up, we'll explore how to maintain your peace in situations where others are determined to push your buttons. Stay tuned. Number 7, when they regret losing you. Let's build on the idea of silence we discussed earlier. Now, let's explore one of the most powerful lessons in life: walking away and letting someone feel the weight of their own choices. When someone mistreats you, takes you for granted, or fails to appreciate you, there comes a moment when they realize what they've lost. But by then, it's already too late. Here's the truth. If someone truly valued you, they wouldn't have put themselves in a position to lose you in the first place. People don't always recognize your worth when you're there, when you're available, when your presence is consistent. But the moment you're gone, the silence becomes deafening. That's when regret sinks in. That's when they start replaying every mistake, every moment they could have done better. And this is why silence is the best response. You don't need to argue, explain, or remind them of what they lost. Let them sit with the consequences. Let them feel the absence of what they once had but failed to appreciate. Because when you truly walk away with no words, no second chances, and no maybe later energy, your absence does all the talking. This is where Stoic wisdom comes into play. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True strength isn't about controlling others, it's about controlling yourself. It's about having the discipline to walk away from those who didn't value you and the wisdom to never look back. Because real power isn't in chasing, it's in knowing when to stop giving your energy to people who never deserved it. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Olivia, was in a long-term relationship where she constantly felt unappreciated. She gave everything, her time, her love, her support. But her partner, he took it all for granted. He assumed she'd always be there, until one day, she wasn't. Olivia didn't yell, didn't beg, didn't threaten. She simply left. No dramatic exit, no long explanations, just silence. At first, her partner thought she was bluffing, but then weeks turned into months and he realized she was really gone. By the time he reached out, full of apologies and regret, Olivia had already moved on. And that's when he truly felt the loss. So how do you handle someone who regrets losing you? First, don't give them an easy way back. If they only appreciate you after you're gone, they never truly valued you. Second, don't explain your absence. Let them wonder. And finally, remember that real self-respect is knowing when to walk away and actually staying gone. At the end of the day, the best lesson you can teach someone is that once you're gone, you're gone. If someone regrets losing you, let them. Their regret is not your responsibility. Their lesson is not your burden. Walk away, stay silent, and let karma do the rest. Thank you for watching Stoic Bridge's video. If you found this video valuable, hit like and subscribe for more powerful insights in next videos.